Well, good Monday morning, everybody. Pastor Steve here. So glad you joined me for this devotion. We are beginning in the book of Psalms. Now, don't panic. We're not going to read all the Psalms at this time. We're going to break it up over the next 3 years. But beginning today, we're going to read for a couple of weeks or so in Psalms, and we're in the first chapter. As always, I trust that you've already read the chapter, written in your journal, what the Lord placed on your heart, not only what you learned, but how it applies to your life. What is God trying to say to you about you as a disciple and how you're going to respond to what He is saying to you? Now, Psalm 1, in these 6 brief verses, a distinction is drawn between the righteous and the wicked. And the differences between them both in this life and in the next life. And I imagine some of you, just like me, were thinking as you read this, preacher, sometimes in this life it seems like the wicked are winning, the wicked prosper, and that the righteous suffers. And let's just be honest, at times that is true. But usually in the course of time, sin catches up with the wicked, and we know that ultimately it's always going to catch up with the wicked on the judgment day and in the next life. And so let's begin by just looking briefly at verse 5 and part of 6. Verse 5, it says, "Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous." So we know that in heaven the wicked are not going to be there, that on the judgment day, They will not stand. They will not win. They lose. And then at the end of verse 6, he says, "The way of the wicked will perish." Ultimately, wickedness catches up with the wicked. Sin always comes calling and says, "You owe me." So the wicked, while it may seem temporarily like they sometimes are winning, ultimately the wicked do not win. Another thing in this psalm, though, that kind of spoke to me is how the Lord always knows, not just what's going on, but He knows what's going on in our lives. And He knows those who are righteous and those who are not. He knows what we're dealing with in life. He knows the truth. Look at verse 6. He says, "For the Lord knows the ways of the righteous." So here's what it spoke to me. When you find yourself in a situation, and it seems like those who are not trusting God, not obeying God, the wicked are winning, and you're suffering, you're losing, whatever. Remember that you're not alone, that God sees you in that moment. And God knows all the circumstances. God knows all the realities. He's not forgotten you. And ultimately, God is going to bless you, and He's going to judge the wicked. Just remember, He knows. He knows you're not alone. God is not in the dark. So there's 2 things from this psalm for me. One is, Steve, don't listen to the wicked. Back in verse 1, how blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel, the guidance, the advice of the wicked, nor stand in the paths of sinners. Walk with them. I see so many people who claim to be followers of Jesus that when it comes to making tough decisions, when they're in a tough spot, they don't turn to the people of God. They don't turn to God. They turn to people who don't love God for advice. And the righteous do not listen to the wicked. When you're having marriage problems, talk to people who love Jesus and have been married successfully for decades. Don't talk to your friends who've already divorced, because they don't know how to help you. If they knew how to help you, they wouldn't have messed up. Righteous don't listen to the wicked. Righteous listen to the righteous. Righteous, they listen to the Lord. And that's the second thing, is not only do we not listen to the wicked, we listen to the Lord, because in verse 2, he said his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in His law he meditates day and night. I love our D group ministry here at First Baptist. I love our Bible reading plan that we put out each year, and that we're reading 5 chapters a week and writing in our journal what God is saying to us, because I'm 64 and been following Jesus since I was a teenager. And even then, in this decade of my life, I'm learning in a very powerful and fresh way, in ways I never knew before, how much difference it makes in my own life when I'm systematically reading the Word. And it's not because I'm learning the Bible. I am, but it's not because I'm learning. And it's not just because I'm reading. It's because I'm encountering God consistently, day after day, through His Word as I allow the Holy Spirit to take His Word and speak to me. And so what am I doing? I'm listening to Him. I'm listening to Him, and I'm not listening to all these other voices, and that is making all the difference in the world in my life, and it can do the same thing in your life. Listen to Him, listen to His Word, invest time to have those conversations with Him, and stop listening to all your friends who keep messing up and not following Jesus anyway, and your life will be so much richer. Hey, God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow.